Hi everyone and welcome back. It's Vicky here for another Mixed Media Tuesday, and today I'm starting a new journal. I'm working again on my 6x6 square journal. This one has watercolor pages, and although I did promise last week that I'm going to cover up to do the cover of the one that I just finished, I am going to work on a new page today because I didn't feel like working on the cover. I just wanted to make a page from start. So I'm bringing in the stencils that I have. This is my collection of Holtz stencils. I'm just picking one randomly, and I'm always drawn into text. I like big alphabet stencils for my backgrounds. So for that I'm going to go with volume paste. Any modeling paste would do the trick for that. And I'm going to just randomly apply the paste in various areas of my page. Now my goal for today is to use products that I have in my stash forever. I'm going to play with my distress oxides, both sprays and inks, and you will see I'm going to bring in lots of Holtz ephemera packs that I have in my stash. So I have applied my volume paste. I am going to go and wash the stencil as well as my spatula, and by the time I am back, this volume paste is going to be dry. So now it's time to play with distress oxide sprays, and I know these can be quite messy. If you don't like the mess, this is the pack that my journal came in. So I'm just going to put it on as a sleeve, and then for the front I'm going to just wrap it around with one of my scrap printer papers. Now this is the way to keep the whole thing nice and neat without making a lot of mess, and I'm also going to do the spraying inside the box just to keep everything contained. Sprays, because I know that a lot of people just avoid sprays because of the mess. I don't mind, but I'm just showing you how it can be done. So now my sprays are 2 shades of blue. You will find the exact list of supplies that I'm using linked down below in the description, just like always. One of my favorite colors is blue, so you will find that many of my projects start with blue as the background. Now I'm going to do some stenciling again, but this time with Distress Oxide ink. I'm using the same dark blue ink that I used for the background, so that was Faded Jeans as a spray, and now again Faded Jeans as an ink pad. I am using one of those stencils with the bolts. I like it because it gives you lots of circles, bigger and smaller ones, and I'm going over it mainly on the areas that the background is kind of lighter, so that it shows better. Again, at this stage, I don't know what I'm going to use for my focal point. I'm just having fun and playing with the background. Now, I'm using one of the stamps. This comes from the Holtz ETCETERA stamp set. It's one of the stamp sets that I keep on using again and again for my backgrounds. And I'm stamping everything with permanent ink. You can go with archival ink, it's pretty much the same thing. And I am going mainly on the border, making sure that I have a text border by using the fine text, the fine print of that stamp. I am also going to bring in one of the circle stamps, just because I like to have some variation on the background. I'm not going for the perfect impression. I always do that to add extra layers and some interest on the background without making it look too busy. I'm also using Distress Oxide ink again in black, that's black Soot, and I'm inking up the edges just to emphasize that darker, the black border all around. Now I'm going to do some splattering. I like to have white splatters all over the place, and for that I'm using white calligraphy ink. Now, because this is going to fall on top of Distress Oxide ink, it's not going to stay as bright and white as it looks, but you will still be able to see some color variation even when it dries. Now I'm bringing in a pack of ephemera, and I'm trying to choose ones that they are blue in color. This is an ephemera pack that I have from a kit that I got by Simon's Stamp. But anyway, just try and find pattern papers that are similar to color with your background. This way you know that they match nicely. I'm just going to play around, try to decide how they would layer and look pleasing to the eye. I'm bringing in other ephemera packs that I have in my stash just to try and find what would work. So here I'm just bringing in one that has blue, but at the same time it is round, just to bring a different shape on the whole composition. You will see that at the end I will change things up. Nothing is going to look as it looks at the moment. But in any case, I'm auditioning different elements to create my layers. And I do have these acetate butterflies I want to use up as well. I am debating on which color of butterfly I should use. Maybe I should go with yellow, it gives a lovely contrast, or the white one. Again, a lovely contrast with the background. Anyway, I went with that one because I think that black was even better. And before I stick all the ephemera down, I'm going to do a little bit of inking on the edges, mainly with brown or blue and black, always colors that I already have on my background. I also used a little bit of dark brown just because I think brown matches with everything, and then just to bring everything together I'm going to do a little bit of stamping with permanent ink on my ephemera, and I'm using the same stamp that I used for the background, just a little trick to have the same details on everything. It really helps bring all the elements together. And now I will use my scissors and just fray the edges all around on my ephemera. I like to do that because it adds more dimension to the ephemera, and they pop nicely when you layer them one against another. And it is time to put together the composition, the focal point. I am starting out by using this tape. Now this is just simply drywall tape. I like to use it because it gives a touch of white without covering up anything actually, and I like the texture that it gives, so it is a great element along with cheesecloth for creating layers. Now obviously many of the elements, as I layer all these ephemera one on top of the other, are going to be covered, and it is the same thing as the tape at the back, but you can always cut out little pieces and tuck them here and there if you want. I just like to start somehow, and just sticking down that tape at the back is a great way to start. Now you will see that I'm going to switch up things, and nothing is going to look the same as when I was auditioning all these elements. I just go by the flow, and what I'm trying to do here is to kind of make it look like it is balanced. So I don't want to have bigger or smaller elements on one side. Here I just cut out the frame, and I'm going to stick one part at the top and another part at the side. And for the butterfly I'm just going to stick it on top as it is. You can definitely recreate something similar and place everything at the center. So create the composition at the center. I am an offset girl. I just like my elements to be kind of offset. For some reason I feel like it gives every page, makes every page look more interesting. So that's what I'm going for. And you can see here I'm just tacking a little bit more of that tape because you cannot see that much anymore after all that layering. So you can definitely tack even extra pieces here and there, wherever you feel it is needed. Now for the butterfly, this is actually acetate, so I'm going to stick it down by using double-sided tape. Now the page is pretty much finished. Let's do some finishing touches to bring everything together. So I absolutely love how the acetate shines on top of all those dull colors. Actually, the distress inks are give that chalky finish. So on top of that you do have all the texture of the paper, you do have the texture of the drywall tape, and then on top of everything the acetate, which is shiny. Absolutely love that play with textures and light. So now I'm using my scissors to cut out some to create some notches. I'm using my tweezers to just curl up some edges, and I don't want them to be so bright white, so I'm just using my ink blending tool there. Super happy with how it looks, and now let's look in our stars and bring in a sentiment. This is a pack of chipboard quotes, again by Team Holtz, that I have been hoarding for ages. I am going to use one of those. I decided to go with Stay Curious, but I don't want to stick it on top of my page as it is, because it is quite thick for a journal. That's why I'm just going to peel off the top only and use that. For sticking it down, you can definitely go with glue. I decided to go with double-sided tape just because I had it on my table, and of course I did ink up the edges a little bit so that it matches with all the other elements. And you can see here how I struggle with placement. Anyway, for me it's always pleasing to go with the offset one, that's why I place it there. I am going to finish it off by adding some white splatters because I cannot stay away from them. And I did do white splatters for the background, but I need to add that same detail on top of my ephemera and the butterfly too. So that was the project for today. Here are some close-up photos where you can see all the details better. I hope that you had fun, that you got inspired. Just like always, a full list of supplies is provided down below in the description. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll see you all next time.